Okay, next topic of interest. Predicting the compound formed by two main group elements. Predicting the compound formed by two main grouped elements. Alright, so I've already got my whiteboard set up, and this is what we got. Let me make sure I'm in red here. Alright, so for each row in the table, decide whether the pair of elements, okay, so I've got an element here, oxygen and fluorine, will form a molecular, ionic, or a molecular or ionic compound. If they will, then enter the chemical formula of the compound. If they will form more than one compound, enter the compound with the fewest total number of atoms. Aha, okay. That's not obvious. Okay, so you may assume all chemical bonds are single bonds, not double or triple. Okay, so oxygen and fluorine. So what I'm going to do with this, first thing I'm going to do with each one of them is I'm going to go here to my periodic table, and I'm going to find oxygen and fluorine. So oxygen and fluorine are both here. So those are both nonmetals. Since they're both nonmetals, I'm going to write that down there, okay? Now, krypton and neon. Those are both here. Here's krypton and here's neon. Those are not only nonmetals, those are halogens. Those are noble gases. They're still nonmetals though, right? So I'm going to say nonmetal, but this is a noble gas, which means it doesn't form bonds. Both of those are noble gases, okay? And then magnesium, which is here. Boom, there's magnesium, right? Can you see it? And then what was the other? That's a metal. And then what's the other one? Iodine. Here's iodine right here. Okay? So let's go back over here. That's a non-metal. Okay, so that's the first thing we're going to do. Now we're going to come through here and we're going to go, okay, well, if it's a non-metal and it's a non-metal, then those are going to be molecular. Okay, now if you have two noble gases, they make no bonds at all, that's going to be neither, right? And if you have a metal and a non-metal, you're going to get ionic. All right. Okay, so that's just a rule that we memorize. Two nonmetals make a compound, a molecular compound. Noble gases don't make bonds at all, right? And metals and nonmetals make ionics. All right, so next thing we're supposed to do is to say, what's the chemical formula? All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go, okay, well, oxygen it's in group 6, so it has a tendency to make 2 bonds and 2 lone pairs of electrons. Fluorine is in group 7, so it has a tendency to make 3 lone pairs of electrons and 1 bond, right? Group 5, by the way, has a tendency to make 3 bonds and 1 lone pair of electrons. Can you see the trend here? And group 4 has a tendency to make no lone pairs of electrons and 4 bonds, right? So we memorize this. And so if that's true, then oxygen wants to have 2 bonds. Fluorine wants to have 1, so it looks like the way for us to put those together is to have 2 fluorines in there, right? And there it is. So it's going to be OF2. All right. Now this is we can't do anything here because it makes no compound. And magnesium and iodine. Magnesium has a tendency to take on a 2+, and iodine has a tendency to take on a 1-. So how can I pair these guys up? It's not going to make bonds, so I can't think about it like that. How can I pair these up in order to make a neutral compound? Well, I'll find the lowest common multiple, which is 2. So it's going to be 2+ plus 2 iodides, right, is going to give me a neutral. So it's going to be MgI2. MgI2. By the way, if I take my approach sort of like this, oxygen has a tendency to take on an oxidation state of -2. Fluorine has a tendency to take on an oxidation state of -1. That will not work here. Or I got a problem if I do that. Okay, this is true, but it's going to lead me, it's going to make it difficult for me to think about it like that. So that's why with molecular compounds, it's nice to think about how many bonds they make. All right? Okay, I hope that's helpful.